Yeah, Overlord. Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L and now let's talk some Overlord, episode 9. Okay, again, videos get delayed, but hey, I was working on another video. Anyway, this was the episode where Sebas is just a master. Well, no, actually, no, it's not. Sebas just kind of does things on his own, and then we just get to see Climb do shit, and it's all good. Last episode I was pretty happy because I was making a big deal about, the whole Sebas and Climb thing. I really enjoyed it. And that was, one of my highlights. And then going into this episode, my next highlight that I was really excited to see was going to be like Sebas just destroying people. And him destroying that ugly old man. But yeah, the episode turned more into a Climb affair. And that wasn't bad. It's just Climb isn't as interesting. And because I think of the way the episode ended up being structured, it kind of made Climb's fight a little bit underwhelming, only when it came to considering what his opponent Succulent was capable of. And I'm gonna explain that because it's kind of a hard thought. I have it in my head right now and I can't really vocalize it, but yeah. So we're gonna go through the episode. I have a few little notes. I'm thinking about when to mention them. I think I'll mention them towards the end. And yeah, I will talk about the main nuances of the episode compared to the light novel. So this is going to be an analysis of a few little sequences and then finally the notes at the end. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, cool. So let's just get into it. So first off, with the Sebas thing. Alright, so this part, it's truthfully, what ended up happening for this episode is that they adapted out some of what Sebas ended up doing on the top side. They adapted it out, and in the grand scheme of things, that's fine because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether we got to see those sequences that they adapted out. It does matter though when you're talking about how badass it is or how cool it is to see a character demolishing everything. So originally in the light novel or in the novel, Sebas had a bigger sequence where he was just wiping out everyone that was on that top floor. They had a bit more detail. It made everything a bit more exciting because there's a little bit more action happening to Sebas. In this episode, however, we very quickly have Sebas entering, and after that we skip the Climb. So that was unfortunate because I'm more interested in Sebas than I am in Climb. And so seeing that they just skipped out that, even though they were just small fries, on a personal enjoyment level, I was kind of looking forward to that. So it's an unfortunate thing. Do normal anime viewers miss out on anything? Not really, because again, they were small fries. You just missed out on the satisfaction of actually seeing him do it. Whereas in this case, you know that he did it, but you didn't get to see it. So that's a minor thing. Not really a big deal. There wasn't anything plot relevant in the sequences that they adapted out. It's just, again, personal enjoyment. Would you have liked to see that? Just Sebas, pretty much what he did to the old man, Sebas has pretty much destroyed everyone else in that way. Would you have liked to see them freak out when they were dealing with him? That's pretty much what the question becomes. But moving into the segment with the old man, again, this was another one where the weaknesses of adapting from anime to, or from novel to anime show up, because in the novel there was a bit more talk, I guess, about, or exposition on this senator or noble's mentality, what he enjoys about the brothel. This one, they did carry it out well enough. They did illustrate the situation well enough. At the end of the day, this guy's a garbage human and he is just beating down on this poor girl. And we can clearly see that he has some kind of fetish for this. The novel went into a bit more detail to cement it into the reader's mind. But for this case, the anime did really well in just illustrating how pathetic he was. I do think drawing someone nude is a great way to take away any dignity they have. Although there are some people, or some, I guess, artistic renderings where the characters can actually look freaking majestic even when they're technically at their weakest. But for this case, having the combination of this guy just squirming around, having the combination of him naked, having the combination of him just crawling on the floor, that kind of body language, I did enjoy just the level of patheticness that they were able to achieve with it. And the voice acting, I didn't really care too much for it, but it did help along you know, just pushing that kind of imagery in your head. I think, and when Sebas kills him, whatever, well, actually Sebas left him to die, so you know, all for it. I really enjoyed it. So you would have gotten more of that type of sequence of just Sebas destroying. What else can we say about the noble's character? Not really. They didn't really dwell or stay on the whole thing with the women, or the woman that he was beating up for too long, so it didn't get to be too kind of aversive to watch. But it's just like another little thing. This episode was really interesting when it came down to like seeing how going quickly kind of takes away some of the impact from things. And now let's move in to Succulent. So how do I start? The fight between Climb and Succulent, I think, is good enough. I think it's cool. I think it had some cool choreography. I think it had some cool mechanics going into it. The illusion arm, I think that's a neat trick. I think there were some cool things. I think as well, Climb had an incredible highlight, specifically when during the fight he looks over to Crocodile and makes the connection that he can just go and attack him. When he makes that connection, I was really impressed, right? Because that's like battle sense, so that's cool to see, and Succulent picks up on it. That is definitely one of the highlights there, because it just shows that Climb, at the end of the day, he's realized he has to fight dirty. That said, Succulent's performance and some of the words that some of his lines are just kind of, I don't think they make sense in context. If you keep in mind the background that Succulent is supposed to have. And so for this part of the episode, my two main issues are going to be pretty much Succulent's behavior or reactions to Climb, and also another little bit that they adapted out, which is specifically Climb and the ability that he gained from Sebas. As a viewer, you could make the connection if you think about it for the Sebas bit, or for this Climb and Sebas bit, but it was definitely more clear in the light novel. So going into this thing first, the lines that Succulent said and just Succulent's behavior were, let me see, let me look through it again. Well, it's pretty much the bit where Succulent was freaked out that Climb still got up, because first off, like, there was the debate, like, why won't you die or just die? And then, you know, there was that line, and then there was the bit where, or just like his general thought of, he's letting this kid get up when he's right next to him when he could. Look, man, when Climb is getting up, just stab him, just cut off his head, just poke your sword through his skull. Like, there is no reason to let Climb get up from the ground. And when you think about it as like, this guy is an assassin, he works for a shady organization, that level of competency or that level of quick thinking, you would expect to actually, you know, be into this. Like, this guy got to be thinking like that from the very beginning, but instead he just stands there like just kind of shocked that Climb is getting up. So that was like one of the big things. It's like his behavior, the way he interacts with Climb makes it seem like he actually isn't all that hardened. He isn't all that used to fighting. He hasn't seen all that many combats. Just because, like, that looked like a really greenhorn type thing to do. Oh, and then we had the sequence where Climb kicks the guy in the torso, which, you know, again, competency like up the wazoo for Climb, but like, there's no reason this guy should be surprised that the guy that he's trying to kill, who's on death's door, is gonna try and kick him away. He shouldn't be like thinking, oh, there's no way this guy's gonna use his leg. Like, why would he do that? Again, you know, there is this idea, well, if he's part of this giant organization, he must have been in combat with a lot of people. He must be smart enough to actually be able to deal, or to be able to anticipate that people are going to pull whatever tricks they're going to pull, especially him who uses tricks. So, you know, my issue with Succulent at this point is that you have the way he reacts to Climb shows that he kind of makes it seem that he's not all that great, and then just the way he freaks out at Climb getting up. When you have him getting up, why are you freaking out that the kid just won't die? Like, guy, you just stabbed him once. Do you think it was the vitals? Do you think that's gonna keep him down? Like, man, I'm sorry. Are you really this high level adventurer? Have you really fought that many people? I feel like this is something that you could probably see like once every 100 deaths. Anyway, that said, you know, the clear message here is Climb came out of this looking really competent, whereas Succulent came out of this looking really stupid. Or not stupid, but he was made a fool of pretty much, or Climb pretty much got the best of him. I don't think he got made a fool of, thinking about it, because Brain comes in and Brain, like, Brain's different. Him dealing with Brain, like, is different. At that point, Brain's got more things going for him. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Succulent versus Climb thing. I think this is a case where one character got elevated and one character just kind of got shafted. Because again, if this is the level of competency for the 6 arms or whatever they're called, I'm not. They're whatever, man. They're not that incredible. Jeez. And you know, that's going to be a plot point later on. Like the 6 arms are going to be talking about Succulent later on, and then you know there's going to be a bit more context there. But still, it's like this guy is in. He's the best of the best, right? That behavior wasn't the best of the best. That's my opinion on it. That said, it was still a cool fight to watch. The other thing, but now being Climb specifically, he gets up and he like continues doing things for Renner. He keeps fighting for a little bit, and just the thing that Climb achieved during the little training session with Sebas was that he could overcome the fear of death. So naturally, what that would like move into is that, okay, well, he's gonna be more capable of dealing with things when he's about to die, and you do see it here, right? Like he's on death's door and he keeps going, so you could like link those two events. The novel just went a little bit further and established what Climb unlocked, or one of the big benefits he got from that near-death encounter with Sebas was that he got the ability of the adrenaline rush. So that part where your body just like unleashes all the limits and lets you go ham and just deal with your opponent. That's one of the things that he got from the Sebas training session. And so the light novel gave us a bit more exposition and made the moment, I think, a lot more impactful, because when you have the exposition in there, it adds suspense, because the guy's explaining, yeah, in this one moment, Climb, he tapped into it. He got all the strength his body could muster. He used it in that one moment. So, you know, like, I think props to the light novel in this department. I would have just liked a bit more clarification, but at the same time, it's like, how are you gonna get that? We don't have an exposition tool in the Overlord anime. It's not like Hunter x Hunter where you have the narration. We don't have that with Overlord. So if we don't have characters explaining to us what's going to happen, we're going to get a lot of these sequences. And so with Climb, not knowing the background, you could just think, well, this was just like a normal fight and just leave it at that. Anyway, those are the really big points that I wanted to talk about for this episode. Everything else, you know, like the Climb fight itself is simple. Crocodile's simple, whatever. Brain, Sebas, all very simple. The other big thing is that Ainz is now going to talk with Sebas. I'm so excited for this one. It's going to be good. But yeah. So let's go through the last little bit of notes that I got here. And these are just like the one-off notes. So I had a first note that Climb was accepting that Sebas is going to murder people. That was good, in that Climb isn't an idealist. You know, it's usually kind of annoying to deal with idealists over pragmatists, because pragmatists are going to get the plot moving and idealists are going to usually hamper things and make things more difficult for the characters that are going to do things. So Climb accepting that, I enjoy it. And again, this adds to the Climb is competent kind of feel for this episode. Let's see. There was also less time spent planning. It was different from the novel. This is the note I made about like the Sebas and his dealing with the underlings in the brothel. The other thing was that they made more plans about who was going in, who was going to stay where, what the plan was going to be. So you missed out on that. Not a very big deal. We got to see the magic items. So we got to see the bells when Climb was using them to find hidden doors. That was really cool. It's cool when you see like a minor object, you know, explained in a novel, and then you get to see it animated. I didn't think they looked like that, so that was really neat for that part. I really like those bells. They're pretty cool. Then I have a note about the prostitute beat up scene and the bitch slaps. Oh right, the bitch slaps. Sebas was bitch slapping the guy. That was hilarious. I love that part, man. That was great. Made him even more pathetic. Glad I had that note there. Ooh, next one. Climb was asking for help when he shouted out for help. That was an excellent moment, alright? Being able to tell that you aren't going to be able to survive something and being okay to ask for help. I'm sorry, no matter how pathetic that may look, that's smart. I'm always going to respect any character that's able to assess a situation and able to ask out for help. I don't care how lame it makes him look. The man just like guaranteed he was going to live. Another thing, oh yeah, the climb aiming for Crocodile. Yeah. Climb looked really competent. Yep. Oh, for Succulent, one of the things that I found really interesting is that when you first see his stance, the stance that he has actually looks like a fencer stance. And it's funny because his sword doesn't really look like a rapier. It looks like more like a short sword or broadsword. And then he does clarify that he has been trained as a fencer. So it was just interesting. I had pictured a thinner blade for Succulent. So seeing him have such a bigger blade, that was pretty interesting. It's just like another neat little detail. I really enjoyed it. I have a note. Succulent should have stabbed the man when he got up instead of being freaked out. Again, then I have another note, brains too overpowered. And finally, we have the last notes that Sebas was impressed with Climb, because you see him stroking his beard as he's like listening to what Climb was doing. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that little detail. And you know, we also got that with the exposition. Sebas is a monster from Brain. And then finally, the last note is about Renner. So the girl's creepy, all right? I think whenever you have someone looking in a mirror trying to figure out how to smile and she's like touching her face and manipulating her face or her mouth to make the smile. I don't know about you guys, but I tried doing that and I look in the mirror and it's like, I don't see any kind of smile forming. I don't know how she's doing it, but whatever. Those kind of moments are so jarring that it really makes you feel like this girl's abnormal. So, you know, in terms of the impact it leaves for the viewers, I think it's a really good impact. And then we have the whole sequence with the maid. I think it's really funny that the maid has such good hearing, but yeah, Renner's vindictive as fuck. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm so excited for that. So, you know, they just showed us Renner's creepy. Renner's not that cool. And what I think was the coolest thing of that sequence was that they cut out to the exact moment in the ending where Renner has that crazy face and the tilted neck. I love that, man. They must have felt so clever when whoever the storyboard artist for that was like, guys, hey, I have an awesome idea. You know that clip in the ending? Let's end it right there. Let's just go to that clip when we start. So, you know, whoever came up with that, props. I think that was a cool trick. I know if I came up with that, I would have felt like I was the most clever guy in the room. So, whoever got that, props. Not gonna lie, that made the second half of the episode for me. So I really enjoyed that. Anyway, that's it. Those are all the things I wanted to say for the episode. 17 minutes in, but whatever. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's leave it there. Till next time. I hope you have a great day, and let me know if I missed anything else down below. Also, if my memories of the light novel are incorrect, feel free to like re-educate me. Okay, cool? Excellent. Till next time.